One thing I'm going to try and do and not make mistakes with in this particular videos for this season is to try and highlight the love, the coupleships, the friendships, the bromances, the sismances, the funny moments, and the gospels as a day hot. Because tell me why the Dika would be pressing on Ilana's bum bum and asking if it is real, both the butt and the boobs. And let's be honest, that's quite a valid question because you see, when there is a trans, there are a lot of transes who didn't need to do a lot of things for their up and down, front and back, just to highlight to look like a woman. Some actually grow having those big thighs, big boobs and ass and all that. So it's quite a fair question, and it's fair to also press it because it seems like these ladies know when they press and they get to feel how it is, if it is real or not. But I think Ilana is actually holding on to the fact that she is saying that hers are quite real to an extent, aside any other, hormonal medicines and tablets she had been taking. But let's just move on from that, yeah? Are these ladies pushing, like, are they brother zoning, what's his name, Bravo B? Because the Bravo B I know or knew before his disqualification from his season, that Bravo B is a ladies man. That Bravo B oh my god, I want to say Bravo. That Bravo B is one who guns for the ladies without asking questions. He follows his heart and he aims for the best. But it's been 2 days. Like, okay, of course, we had said earlier in our previous video that, you know what, let's give this guy a week. A week to get out of his shell. But this is a show that moves so fast. And in the first few days or the first week, people finally decide whom they are supporting, the shape they are going for, the friendships, the romances, and all the 9 yards, and the people they are disliking, or the people they have tagged as boring. So tell me why this guy is having conversation with Ramona, he's having conversation with Thandika, there was Dene Jones, and then there was Bothli B. And here they were talking about how they feel safe around him, which is a good thing. It is a very good thing that ladies would admit that they feel safe around you as a person, as contrary to the notion people have of you. And they consider him as a brother, as an older brother. They now are having conversations with him about men, their men interests, their male interests. I think one thing that would really work for Bravo B is if he uses this opportunity to be able to gossip with the guys about it and place things in order, because he and Ramona are giving off the same vibes, mom and dad of the house. Because we then heard where what's her name? Bothli B revealed that she has interest in some male housemates. In fact, she said, I have interest in one guy, and that is Tumi. But then again, she revealed that she's also interested in what's his name? In Mmeli. And I'm like, okay, girl, are you ready for what's going to happen? Because there is a flag there already, flagging, a flag already flying, being flown around Mmeli. Are you ready for that? And I would like it if in the end that she is ready for it, because it's going to be hard. And we're talking about the fact that Thandika and Mmeli are probably getting very, very, very cozy. And you guys understand when I say very cozy. Now, moving on from that, she said, but her real interest was Tumi, and it's because she is interested in tall, dark, and handsome guys. And then throughout most parts of yesterday, we noticed that her and Tumi were quite spending quite some time and having conversations. But then why is it that deep inside of me I feel this sheep that is sort of growing for this to might not necessarily end well. And I'll talk about it towards, the end of this particular conversation about these two. So now, we noticed that Tumi and Bothli had a conversation around the kitchen. They were eating and stuff, and here was Bothli hinting on the fact that she's concerned. She's indicating that she has interest in Tumi, but then she is going to monitor and be sure if it's the right thing to do. And she was talking about how she used to see that some girls have interest in him, and they either directly or indirectly indicated. And he was smiling and laughing. I was like, yeah, he's used to that. Ladies liking him, ladies wanting him and flocking around him. And then she was like, you know what do you think about that? You enjoy that? Is that what you're saying? You like being chased and stuff? He's like, no, the thing is, I'm used to it, yeah, but then I don't really like it most times or sometimes because it makes other guys dislike me and hate on me and all the 9 yards. But when I see someone I'm interested in, I go for that person. That person ends up becoming my own person. And she's like, okay, so do you care to tell me who that person is? And he didn't say anything. He was just looking at her and smiling, and him looking at her up and down, and this girl started blushing and laughing. Oh, stop it. Talk, come on. And he's like, you said you like action speaks better than words. She's like, no, I want to hear it, just talk. What is your interest? And he's like, oh, it is her. And from the first time she entered the house, she was a girl that caught his attention. And then he went on for them to have a conversation. And according to him, that conversation was actually a good, intensive conversation. Conversations that he feels, oh, this is mature. This is cool. This is how I like things to be. And he is going to be here for her if this is what they both want. At this point, it's just all smiles and blushing and blushing. And then, he was just saying words, and every word he was saying, in my mind, there was just still this something that was a thing of concern. Because, excuse you, this is the same guy that we know that when Liema made the statement that you give me vibes of my ex, he picked on the hints that this girl is not over her ex and she would want anything closely related to that ex. And what better person than Tumi? Yeah, so he has interest in her. And then there are a number of ladies that have, pushed some little hint here and there. And these are points of concern. Yes, he likes Bothli B, but it's a point of concern because at a point during the day, she started noticing that after the conversation, this guy had off vibes towards her. He was not really talking, he was not really feeling cozy and all that stuff. And then she had to go confront him or have a conversation with him in the dressing room. And she was like, you know what? Are you okay? What's going on with you? Like, talk to me. Explain what is happening. And he's like, no, that he's cool. And he started asking her, are you okay? Are you really cool? Because the way you're coming off, you're sounding very concerned. And she's like, yeah, but my concern is that if you're really okay, right? And that's what I really wanted to know. These are people that have shared good conversations. They've hugged, and all of a sudden, she's feeling a cold shoulder. She's feeling a cold vibe. But that whole thing just changed during the night because it's about to go down because these two have shared the time to be together because they spent the night together. It was on the same bed, and soon enough, it was a beautiful moment that they sealed. There's always this thing about each season where we get to look out for the first hug between a guy and a girl, or the first kiss between a guy and a girl. And that first kiss was shared between Bothli B and Tumi. Ooh la la. A lot of you be like, Lady Jackson, you started like you did in Tati and Kanaga Jr. Excuse you, please leave me alone, let me focus. Anyways, moving on from that. I really want to understand what Didi is trying to do. I kind of understand her, but then it is a thing of concern that if that was your concern, yeah, why didn't you start acting that way from the onset? Now you're not giving off something that people they really like. Now, for those of you who don't know, yeah, Didi and Q's connection and vibe as a in quote a couple or a ship was the first to have ignited in Big Brother's house. And like we said in our previous video, it was a natural flow. But here she is having a conversation with Ramona where she was indicating that, she feels it was a wrong move. She feels it was not what was supposed to happen because she is someone that likes to find herself in a new space, take her time, find herself in a new space, find her alliances of friendship, of, frenemies and bonds of everything before getting into the point of likeness. She wants people to know her for her before she gets to be in a ship. And right now it is a problem because people have tagged her in a ship already and she does not like that. She finished that conversation and moved to Michelle where she had the same conversation that, what, I was having a conversation with Ramona and this is what I feel, this is what it is for me. I don't like the fact that I got into the house and the first thing that is happening is that I'm in a form of a ship tag. And now if there's any other guy who wants to have a conversation with me, they don't come. They don't have a conversation with me because there is already a flag flying around my head with in relation to her and Q being cozy. She moved on to the fact that to me, I'm like, hey, I knew it. There was something around all this that Tumi was showing interest and she sort of vibes with Tumi. That a lot of people will see it and be like, oh, it was because of after the nomination, she's getting close to Tumi. She's trying to create good alliances. And I'm like, of course, people are going to think that, but are you here to relate yourself based off of what people think? Play your game, be natural about it and enjoy it. Because this girl has already had a conversation with what's his name? With Q, talking about how she would like it that people get to know her for herself. She would like it that people get to know him for himself before the tag. And her concern is the fact that people have been gossiping about the both of them. That she's even shocked that there are a lot of people who are in twos, like couples. But why is it that it is just the both of them that people are talking about? I'm like, it is what it is. People are going to talk. What do you expect? I mean, those who cannot or who have not decided to get into something, they will talk. Let them talk. Then she later, I think she asked Q a question as related his, how relationships has been for him. And he responded saying, oh, there was this girl he really liked. They were in a relationship. But then over time, everything started growing very sour because it started becoming quite toxic vocally, verbally, and mentally, and even physically. Now, I don't know if he indicated that she became sort of violent towards him, and they would have times where there'll be a little bit of physicality and then the verbal things, that it was a problem. And he felt that, what, no matter how much I love you, if we get to continue like this, things are going to go bad and horrible. So he decided that, I think they decided that they were done. I think it was him because the way he was saying it, and that's just what it was for him. We could actually see it in his eye that this guy actually wants to continue and build whatever it is that is building between he and what's her name? Between he and Didi. But Didi is someone who wants to get to connect and vibe with other guys. Why do I feel that she has an attraction for Tumi? She has an attraction for Tumi because according to our conversation with Michelle, she indicated that Ramona said that Tumi has eyes for her. Like he's sort of, very, very into her, very head over heels into her. And how would Ramona have this this information if it's not from the conversation that she had with what's his name, with Tumi. Now, for those of you who don't know, Tumi was having a conversation with Dube, and they were talking about how Nene Jones and Ramona are actually very matured ladies, because they are ladies. They can have conversations too about their plans, about their strategy, about their ships, about their ladies of interest, or female interest, and all the 9 yards. Guys, this show would actually probably be the best Big Brother Mzansi season of all 6 seasons so far, because everything that is happening here is so natural. I cannot pick out one person that, oh, this person is boring, oh, this person is acting, this person is faking, and all the 9 yards. I can not wait to see how far this goes.